Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. Let's get straight down to it, shall we? So obviously tonight is the big one. It's for the WBO welterweight title. It's Terence Crawford, the champion, versus Britain's own Kell Brook. It's going to be a fantastic fight, I think. It's going to be exciting to watch, but how is it going to go? Well, there's no doubt about it. What's interesting, both fighters, I believe, are on the slow decline. I don't think Crawford's getting any better. Yes, he's still ranked in the top 5 pound for pound, but his last fight showed loopholes, slowed that his reflexes are slowing a little bit, showing that he can be hit and he can be hurt. He got floored badly and managed to survive. Credit to him. Obviously, Brook, is he the same fighter that beat Sean Porter back in 2014? Or the fighter that went toe-to-toe in an epic against Errol Spence? Well, he hasn't done a lot since them fights, has he? He's been quite inactive and hasn't looked great himself in his last fight. But we know these champions, and they are champions, raise it. I think they're going to be both far better than they were in their previous fights. But I think Kell Brook has a fantastic chance. The big question is, how much does he have left? How much motivation does he have left? How much of a difference is it going to be without his new normal team of, Dominic Ingle, his normal trainer out there? And ultimately, how's he going to fare on the home stretch? Now, we know his 2 losses against Golovkin at middleweight and Spence, obviously at welterweight, he was dominating them fights early on. He was beating Spence up, I felt, for the first 6 rounds, and he was beating Golovkin. He was in control of these fights, but he tired. Golovkin kept coming. Spence kept coming, kept putting it on Brook. And as we know, Brook likes to dictate the pace. He likes to be the one stepping forward. When you back him up, when you make him fight for every second of every round, he's naturally muscular flame, and he's a big welterweight, starts to tire. And this is going to be a problem if, he hasn't made the weight healthily. If he hasn't made the weight correctly, losing that weight, and he has lost a lot of weight, he's done well to make the weight limit, he's going to drain you. So I can only hope he has prepared right. He's lost the weight slowly and not crash dieted, because that will come out to hurt him. As obviously we know against Spence, when Eddie Hearn said, he had all kinds of problems making that 147 weight, and it showed as the fight wore on. For 9 rounds, he was Spence's equal, and then obviously he got dominated because he was tired the last 2 rounds. So if he's made the weight healthy, like he says he has, over a 12-week dedicated camp, if he's in great shape, if he can fight just as hard down the home stretch as he can the early stretch, then he's got a great chance. That's a big if, though, isn't it? Against someone as hungry and as durable as Crawford, who can go for 12 rounds, who gets better as the fight wears on. And this is my fear. I think if Brook can't get Crawford out of there early and put him on him, then I think he's going to tire. And I think as the fight goes on, Crawford's going to overwhelm Brook. That's my worry. I think that it's going to be absolutely fireworks for the first 6 rounds. I think Brook's going to give him all kinds of problems. Crawford is vulnerable because obviously he likes to come forward. He's an aggressive fighter. But at welterweight, he hasn't got the lightning speed. A bit like Usyk hasn't got the lightning speed when he's at cruiserweight, moving up to heavyweight. When Crawford was a light welter, he was lightning. He's still quick, but he's not as quick. And them vital few seconds make all the difference. You can hit him, you can hurt him. And I fully believe Brook is a master sniper boxer. He'll hit and counter and hurt Crawford early on. But I've got a horrible feeling, because obviously we all want Brook to win here in the UK, that Crawford is going to weather that storm, keep working and walking Brook down, and start to overwhelm him. I think as Brook's punch output starts to slow, Crawford will then increase his own punch output, and I think he's going to get Brook out there around the 9-10 mark, where with a completely exhausted, completely gassed Brook can't defend himself on the ropes. That's my worry. But listen, Brook, if he can get Crawford out there within the first 6 rounds, which is a big ask, that would be, for me, his way of victory. Crawford can be hit. He's not a Mayweather. He can be hurt, as we saw in his last fight. Brook knows this, and I think he's just got to jump on Crawford early and try and get him out there, because obviously Crawford gets better and better, and we know there's question marks with Brook over a longer fight at high intensity when the pressure's put on him. He did it against Porter, credit to him, but that was 6 years ago, and that was an active, regular fight in Brook. So that's the big question. If he can turn back the clock, then Brook's got a fantastic chance. I just can't see it happening. I think it's going to be fireworks, but I think, sadly for us UK fans, I think Crawford gets him out there and stops an exhausted Brook on the ropes around 9 and 10 tonight.